Before we start today's edition of the NFL Corner, I thought I'd give you all a quick update on the schedule for the rest of the week. So, of course, today's video, you are watching the NFL Corner with Kieran and Will. It's certainly a good one. It's First Round Draft 2.0. And keep your eyes out on Saturday as the first episode of the brand new Hull City career will be available. So there's some content for the weekend coming up over the next couple of weeks. And then you can check back on Tuesday where Rowan and Simon will be back for the Wrestling Corner. Do not miss out on that. And just a quick update as well regarding the live streams. You might not be able to see them on the actual channel. There are some issues right now on YouTube. So keep your eyes out. Go to @_top corner on Twitter to keep up to date with all of the latest regarding live streams and videos going live on the channel. So hopefully you enjoy this episode of the NFL Corner. It's certainly a good one. See you soon.
Right. Recording has started. And welcome to NFL Mock Draft 2.0. I couldn't tell which way the pen was going.
No,
it was fine. But welcome again to the NFL Mock Draft 2.0. We did one of these, was it a month ago?
Yeah, about a month ago.
No. Yeah, when life was easier and outside was available, you know. But now we've got to stay in, so we've got nothing better to do than do another one because there's nothing else. Yeah,
and it's not long away now, and luckily the draft is staying as it is, which is good news. It's not changed.
I mean, to be fair though, I feel everyone just needs a little bit of a break from the doom and gloom. And we were talking yesterday, and we were saying like for the Wrestling Corner, like WrestleMania is a nice little break from worrying about Corona. I think free agency was good for a little bit. Like it was available for everyone to kind of take their focus from the pandemic and move it towards something good. And now we've got the draft, so we can move our thoughts from the pandemic to who's everyone going to draft. And I can't wait. What we will be doing, hopefully, if we can get, like, if we have the facilities for that, is we'll do live reactions to the draft at 3 in the morning. You'll see a very tired Will and Kieran.
I mean, it would be quality to see the Vikings pick up Trevon Diggs. You know, I think it would be limbs in the chat.
Well, considering we have 2 first-round picks, I get to enjoy twice as much fun as everyone else in the first round. So
we're pretty close to each other as well. That's pick 22 and pick 25. You know,
exactly. I'll have time to recuperate from our first pick of an offensive lineman. I'm putting in there now, and then I can come back for a cornerback in 3 picks. So good limbs. I said I'm going to go back on the wide receiver. We don't need a wide receiver in the first round because I forgot about TJ Sharp. So we'll get a wide receiver in round 2.
Well, we'll see how this mock draft goes because I have made a few changes and I've tried to make it interesting. I've tried to make it a bit different from other people's mock drafts. And there's no trades in this one either. So every team is getting a player. They're going to pick a player in this draft. I think there will be trades on draft night, but for this one, I've made no trades. So every team.
Didn't you have San Francisco traded?
Yeah, I had him trading. I think they will do it on draft night, but I thought actually the base it is for now.
Wait, didn't they acquire a first rounder?
Yeah, they're picking 13. They're picking 13 and 31 after the Buckner trade.
Buckner, yeah, because they kept Armstead, didn't they?
Yeah, they kept Eric, and they traded Buckner. So let's get underway with it, I guess.
Go on. Oh, by the way, new format because we can't have just the exact same thing. I'm going to be grading on this nice whiteboard that says NFL mock draft because the rubber doesn't work properly. So you'll be able to see my grade for like the last 7. But it's fine. It's fine. Top quality £1 whiteboards only available here.
Which you can't acquire anymore now because every shop that sells things like that are now closed.
It's not essential. So basically, I'm solid gold. This is right now so rare that I might go and trade this on eBay.
I'm gonna say you might get some decent amount of money for that one.
Yeah, it's going next to my Purell, which is also on the market for a nice decent price. No, well, let's get into the NFL. Let's get into some positive news.
I mean, there's not been a right lot of news, has there, really?
No.
It's just been more free agent signings, some lesser signings. Jadeveon Clowney is still on the market.
Jameis
is still there. Logan Ryan is still there.
Where do you
see Jameis ending up? I know you liked him on the Steelers. Where do you see him ending up?
I like Steelers. I've seen a lot of people say Patriots. Good shout. Because they like, I can never remember his name. Stedham? Stedham?
Jarrett Stidham.
Jarrett Stidham, that's the one. Yeah, they like him. I've also seen the Saints thrown around by Mark Florio. He likes that because Taysom Hill would run a different offense to Breeze, whereas Jameis could pop into the offense and get the job done like Teddy Bridgewater did last year. Looking around, he's not going to be a starter. I don't see him being a starter anywhere. I like the Steelers, which was the original one, because Ben Roethlisberger, if he's injured, do you know what? Why not the Philadelphia Eagles? Carson Wentz is always injured.
Well, he's always injured, and I think if Winston's a backup, I think he probably becomes the best backup in the league immediately, just because he's shown he can be a starter and he's shown he's durable as well. Cam Newton's still out there as well. I'm interested to see where Cam Newton goes.
He's another one.
I think the best for Cam Newton is probably the Patriots, but I just don't think the Patriots are going to sign him. I think they like Stidham a lot, but we'll see. They might draft one. But obviously, we have heard they do like Stidham. But I think if the opportunity arises to draft a nice quarterback or Cam, or they want to sign Cam, I think it's very hard to pass up on them and keep Jarrett Stidham.
Do you think both Jameis and Clowney go before the draft?
I think probably, but it still is about 3 weeks away in the draft. It's actually 3 weeks away today, the draft. And apparently Clowney's reduced his asking price. He wanted 20 million at first. Now he wants about 17 to 18. So it might see more teams getting interested in him. I know the Titans are a team that apparently talked to his agent or something like that. So if the Titans manage to get him, I think that'd be a really, really nice pick for them. But Jameis, I'm not too sure on Jameis.
All I know is it won't be the Chiefs because they've got $177 of cap room.
Yeah, they can buy an Alexa and a toaster if they want, but they can't buy Jameis, I'm afraid.
No, they can't get Jay. He's not down that much. By the way, I keep moving my head because this glowing light that is beaming my head is really annoying, but I've not figured out a way to get it sorted yet.
It's all right. So
I've got a halo.
Your head is glowing up.
Yeah, I know. I'm glowing in the quarantine.
It's lighting up in the quarantine. Right then, we'll get underway with the draft then. How about that?
We'll for a bit, and we'll get into the real serious mock draft now.
So first overall pick, Cincinnati Bengals, worst record in the league, 2-14 last year. I've got them selecting Joe Burrow, like anybody else, quarterback from LSU. They need a QB, and they've been linked with him for a long time. There's been rumours that the Dolphins might trade up for him, but I can't see the Bengals letting him go. And I think this is just, we all know this is going to happen, and that's all I've got to say.
My grade for this, it's not the Bengals logo. It's a B, and that's because for me, not that I think Joe Burrow is absolutely brilliant. I think it's nailed on that he's going to be a first pick. I want to see him do it for 2 to 3 consistent years, not just 1 year. He's not going to reach 60 touchdowns next year. I very much doubt it. In the end, not a chance. No. But I want to see how he works in a NFL offense. I want to see how he works when the game level is higher than the college game. Mm-hmm. And he's only really proven it over one season. I mean, I'm looking at him here. He had a passer rating, I think it was, or a quarterback rating of 202.0 last year. That is insane. I mean,
it's very hard to replicate what he did. Very hard.
It will be unbelievable if he does. Not 60. We'll drop it down because you're not going to throw that. But in terms of interceptions, he's never really. He wasn't throwing frequent interceptions. I like to see how he makes reads off an NFL defense rather than a college one. But college champion. The only reason I'm not giving it an A is because it was over 1 year, and there's a little bit of a uncertainty.
Yeah, I think there is, and obviously Burrow only doing it over one season and being on a very, very good team in LSU. The Bengals, they're the worst team in the league. He's going to go from the best team in college football to the worst team in the NFL. They've not got the best O-line. They've got average weapons, really. AJ Green, he's usually injured. So we'll have to see how he transitions to the NFL. But I think I agree with you. I think he's not, in my opinion, he's not the most talented quarterback in the draft. But I think with what he did last year with LSU, it's very, very hard to pass on that. And he's from Ohio, so he's a hometown kid. So the Bengals probably gonna.
I mean, for all the Bengals know that let's be fair. If they say, oh, he's only done it 1 year, so we'll go with Tua. Then they get Tua gets injured, and Joe Burrow's tearing it up for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
They'll say, why didn't you just make the obvious choice? So it makes a little more sense.
And I think Tua probably will be the number 1 overall pick, but it's just the injury concerns that are, I think, putting his draft stock down a bit.
Definitely. But
go on.
No, I'm just saying. But like, what can we say? This kind of pick's been nailed on for months now. I think the top 5's been the same players kind of thrown about. So we'll move on though, because we'll go to pick number 2.
This one's already. This one, we know this one as well. I've got them taking Chase Young, defensive end from Ohio State. Again, the top 2 picks in the draft really have been the same for a good few months now. And, the Skins, they need pass rush, and Chase Young, probably the best overall player in the draft. Yeah, Chase Young to Redskins, that's where I've got him going. And you grade it as a A+ pick.
Best player in the draft, 16.5 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, best pass rusher to come out of college since Bosa, which is a year ago. So, yeah. But if he can make the same impact, if he can make the same impact, then what can you say about this guy? Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Brilliant player, and like we said, he's nailed on. Creates pressure, unbelievable combine as well, and there's not really that player that's in the same tier as Jason. I think he's definitely the outright best player in this draft. Maybe the problem is they might trade down, but I think in the end, I think Jason ends up with the Redskins. Definitely. Now, pick 3. I've been having Jeff Okudah go into the Lions a lot in my other mock drafts, but I've actually got them taking Isaiah Simmons here.
The
reason is, Isaiah Simmons, linebacker from Clemson, obviously, but he can play safety, he can play corner. He's a good pass rusher. Now, the reason for it is because I think Jeff Okudah is a very, very good cornerback, but I think as an all-round player, I think Isaiah Simmons is better. Obviously, they lost Darius Slay, the Lions. They traded him away to the Eagles.
That was the thing.
They signed Desmond True from the Falcons as a good cornerback. They've still got Justin Coleman, who were their slot corner. They've got Armani Oruwariye from Penn State that they drafted last year, who they like. And I think, they're weak at corners, but you've also got to look at this defense. They're weak everywhere else in the defense. They don't really have that standout safety. Their linebackers are very weak, in my opinion. They lost Devon Kennard to the Falcons, who was their leader in sacks, I think. You put this guy on this defense, he can be that leader, and he can play anywhere on the defense, and he can, fill so many holes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you get Jeff Okudah, you fill in one slot. Whereas if I get Isaiah Simmons, you are filling. I mean, arguably, I think Jeff Okudah is a better corner, in my opinion, than Simmons. But I mean, I personally like this guy at safety. I really do. But I'm going to give it an A because he's so versatile. He's useful for anyone. Interesting. He's going at number 3. Is he number 3? I'm not sure.
I think he's the second best overall talent in the draft behind Chase Young.
He's a top 10.
Yeah, he's going to go in the top 10. He might even go in the top 5. But I think if the Lions picked Isaiah Simmons here at pick 3, that would shake up the draft so much, because I know the Giants liked him, but if he's gone off the board, if the Giants got Jeff Okudah, they go somewhere else. At pick 4, the New York Giants next up, I don't have them taking Jeff Okudah. I have them taking an offensive lineman, Mekhi Becton.
I knew it. And
from Louisville, and he fills a need. They've been needing offensive tackles for a long time, and I think Dave Gettleman, their GM, just going to fall in love with this guy just because of how big of a human he is, and he's just an absolute massive physical specimen, and he could be your right tackle or left tackle. He could be the anchor on the offensive line for many years to come.
I mean, if you need someone to protect Daniel Jones in his first year, as he will start for the whole year long, I mean, there's no one better to have in front of you than this absolute behemoth of a man. And today, because I love Mekhi Becton, this is getting a bit boring here because I've put A for every single one, but I love Mekhi Becton, so I can't.
It's a solid pick, and he probably is the best offensive lineman in the draft. I think he's definitely got the highest ceiling, just because of his physical stature and the way he's got really, really good feet. He's only going to get better. I think it's a really, really good pick for the Giants. Pick 5.
The way he dominated the combine as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Pick 5, Miami Dolphins. I've got them selecting Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback from Alabama. It's similar to Joe Burrow, really. We've been knowing this Tua to the Dolphins has been mocked by many people for the past few months. It was just the medical issues, because other than that, Tua, we know he's a brilliant quarterback, and the Dolphins need a quarterback. It's an obvious pick, really.
It's a bit harsh that they can't do physicals anymore. Like, well, they can, but not to the same level, because no one really. I know he was I remember I was watching earlier. He was put an Instagram post. I think he was, between the cones, getting a feel for the football again, moving well. But there's only so much. Everyone can move between cones on a video for 10 seconds. It doesn't really tell you enough about him. And it seems like I don't really like quarterbacks. He's getting the same as Burrow. He's getting a B because of his injury problems. Best quarterback, I think. But
talent quarterback. It's just as we know, the injury issues, and can he take a big hit in the NFL and get back up from it? It's yet to be seen.
And he needs to bounce back, because if he starts the first game for the Dolphins, how long has it been since he started a competitive game?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think he only played 9 games this year. I think, did he get injured in like November, October, something like that? So it's going to be a while.
Yeah. I think it was he didn't play double figures.
No, he didn't. But they need a quarterback, and he's the next best available quarterback in this draft. Probably the best. Joe Burrow's obviously been taken. Next up,
he doesn't get an A because Burrow 1 year, 2. It's really weird with quarterbacks this year. I think there's. I don't want to say them two have got higher ceilings than the others coming up, but I feel that others have got less question marks about them.
Yeah.
But we'll get to them later.
Yeah. Well, pick 6, next up, the Los Angeles Chargers. I do also have them taking a quarterback, and it's the same as my other mock draft. Justin Herbert, quarterback, Oregon. When you look at the Chargers team, there's not many weaknesses. They've spent very well in free agency on the defense. They've got very good wide receivers. Maybe offensive line is a bit of a weakness, but they've signed Brian Bulaga, who's a brilliant right tackle from the Packers. And their current QB is Tyrod Taylor, and they don't really want to be going into a season starting Tyrod Taylor, really. So I think Justin Herbert will be the new starting quarterback of the Chargers.
There was actually a video that obviously you can see the YouTube in the background that I'm looking at here. But before that, there were, because I'm subscribed to NBC, and they were doing Pro Football Talk, and Mike Florio, I've not watched the video yet, but he was doing a piece on could the Chargers make the playoffs with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. The only reason I'm giving this a C, and it's not a knock on Justin Herbert, because I would have given this an A had this been chose a little later in the draft. I don't think he's a top 10 pick.
No. I agree. I don't think he's a top 10 talent, but it's just quarterbacks in the draft. It's a completely different position. They fly off the board really early, no matter how good they are. It's just the most viable positions team need to pick early. I agree. I think the Chargers, they could trade back here and still end up with Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've done no trades in this one.
If this was around the Colts pick, like if the Colts got picked, like what's the Colts pick like?
The Colts have a first round pick. Their next pick's in the second round.
Let me think of a team then that's around the 13th pick. Around 10 to 20. If you'd have picked Herbert in there, I arguably would give it an A, because I do think he's arguably the most consistent player.
Yeah. And
people are high on him coming out the draft, but why I don't know. I thought the Colts had the first round.
They traded it for DeForest Buckner.
Oh, there you go. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh,
so they got a brilliant defensive tackle. The 49ers are the team that got it, so they've got 2 first round picks, but we expect them.
I think they'll get rid of their later one, probably.
Yeah, I think they will do as well. So yeah, definitely. So they're the top 6 picks of the draft. Now we're moving on to pick 7, which is the Carolina Panthers. And this one, now I had them taking best player available, and this position, this is a position of need. Carolina Panthers select Jeff Okudah, cornerback from Ohio State, the best corner on the board. And now I think you could say they need a defensive tackle. They've lost a lot of defensive linemen in the offseason in free agency. But best available, their corners aren't very good either. So the best available player remaining is Jeff Okudah. And if they get Jeff Okudah at 7, that's an awesome pick for the Carolina Panthers. Yeah.
Love Jeff Okudah. Best corner in the draft by a considerable margin. We speak about this a lot when we're doing we were talking the other day, because we were talking about corners. Well, specifically talking about the Vikings, and we were talking about Dallas actually as well, because you lost Byron Jones, and we were saying we ain't going to get Jeff Okudah he's gone. We don't even consider him because he's the best, the best player.
Definitely gone in the top 10, without a doubt.
Yeah, but then I think there's one outstanding corner, and then a bunch of 5 or 6 guys, very good corners, but he's out on his own at the top. And I love Jeff Cooter, absolute, 3 interceptions doesn't really tell the full story, but man-to-man corner, very good.
Very good. I think he's NFL ready. There's no doubt about that, and he can be their number one corner for many years to come. They've got Dante Jackson, obviously, the Panthers, but after that, no one really. And they could have gone DT, but I think in terms of the quality of defensive tackle, I think you can pick up some good DTs in the later rounds. Whereas corners, I've got a feeling there's going to be a big run on corners. There's a lot of teams that need cornerbacks, and I think you might see some second round talents being picked in the first round in terms of cornerbacks, just because of the need there.
I think depth as well. You've got corners and wide receivers, which are really, really high on depth this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the Panthers getting a really, really nice player in Jeff Cooter. So pick 8 is the Arizona Cardinals. Now, obviously, they had the big trade for DeAndre Hopkins. Their need for wide receiver is not that high anymore. So I've got them taking an offensive tackle. Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle from Iowa. They need to protect their franchise quarterback, Kyler Murray. Like I said, I had them taking CD Lamb in the other mock draft, but since they got Hopkins, the need for wide receiver is not there. Protect your franchise quarterback. And this guy, very, very good offensive tackle.
I've gone with a B because, as we said, when we were probably doing this before pre-free agency, wide receiver was what they needed. They needed weapons for Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
So they got that in DeAndre Hopkins, and they didn't even have to give up this pick, which I thought they would have to. Mm-hmm. So now they might as well improve on protecting Kyler Murray, even though Kyler Murray is one of them that I think could escape the pocket if he had a bad offensive line. But
yeah, very similar to Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and I think was Tristan Wirfs the one that had a decent combine as well? I just seem to remember. Let me have a look.
A really good combine. I've seen a lot of mocks where people think Tristan Wirfs is the best offensive tackle in this draft, ahead of Mekhi Becton. But I picked Becton for the Giants just because I think his potential's up there as the best in the draft. But Tristan Wirfs, I think it's him and Becton who was the best tackle in this draft. In granted, a very, very good offensive tackle draft, because there are some very good ones.
Yeah, I personally think it's a bit top heavy. Like, again, you've got really good, but there's more really good ones. I think there's about four or five.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good ones, and then the quality dips.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Definitely. So pick 9, Jacksonville Jaguars. I've got them taking Derek Brown, defensive lineman from Auburn. They need interior defensive lineman, and I think Derek Brown, the best one in the draft, definitely. Either him or Javon Kinlaw, but I've gone with Derek Brown.
I do like Derek Brown. I really do. I'm not sure what grade to give this. I'm really not.
Just the best. Another case of best player available.
I'm going to go with an A-.
Right.
Because at defensive tackle, am I right in thinking that's the position of Yannick and Calais?
Yeah, but they got rid of Calais Campbell as well.
This is what I'm saying. And they might be getting rid of Yannick. So he's going to have massive shoes to fill. Massive. Whether we can do it, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him. There's a lot of pressure on him to bring the pressure to quarterbacks. So
the run as well.
Yeah, I like the pick, but I think he's not at that level, for example, to be that immediate replacement. So that's why I'm only going to give it a B, because there's not going to be anyone you can get in the draft that's going to be Yannick or Calais quality.
I think this guy, though, the upside that he has, he can definitely become one of those one day.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you watch the tape of Derek Brown, he's just so athletic for how big he is, and he's just got such a high motor, and he could be that big man in the middle of your defensive line for many years to come. And like I said, I think the Panthers could be another good fit for him, but with the way the mocks fall, and Jeffrey Cooter was the pick for them, just based off best player available. But Derek Brown's still a very good pick for the Jags.
Do you know what? Yeah, the only reason, as I said, the only reason I gave it an A- was because it's just very big shoes to fill, and it's a lot of pressure on the man. But great player.
You've got holes to fill. You might as well get your replacement.
You might as well.
Yeah. So pick 10, the Cleveland Browns. This was an obvious pick for me, offensive lineman. I've gone with Andrew Thomas from Georgia, the left tackle. Now they signed Jack Conklin in free agency to be their new starting right tackle. So at first I was thinking about giving him Jedrick Wills, but Andrew Thomas has been a left tackle all his career. played for a big college, and Georgia just kind of left him at left tackle on his own without any protection. Just go one-on-one with some of the best defensive ends in college football. And he did a really, really good job, and he could be another player who, they need blockers for Baker Mayfield. Conklin on the right, Thomas on the left. I think that solidifies the defensive line a lot more.
Do you know what? Maybe this is a mock. I don't know too much about him. I'll be honest. I don't know too. I don't know enough about him. I know about quite a lot of players in this draft, but I've not heard anything about Andrew Thomas. Coming out of.
Well, in the other draft, I had him going 18 to the Miami Dolphins, but I think the stock on him has risen in terms of NFL teams, what they think of him since a month ago. So I think Andrew Thomas, like Jedrick Wills, I think he is a very good offensive lineman, but signing Conklin means they don't need another right tackle; they need that left tackle anchor. And Andrew Thomas is the best left tackle left on the board. Yeah,
but maybe it's more filling a gap. But as I say, I don't know too much about him, so I'm just going to give it a C because I'm not too sure, really.
We'll have to see how that pans out, but they need offensive linemen, and just went for the best available. Pick 11, New York Jets. Many, many holes on this team. Another team that could do with an offensive tackle. I've gone a different direction. I've got them picking Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver, Alabama. They lost Robbie Anderson to the Panthers. They signed Perryman from the Buccaneers. That's a downgrade in my opinion. The reason why I like the fit here with Jerry Jeudy is because he's a great route runner, and very similar to when Amari Cooper got traded to Dallas. His route running meant he could get separation, made it much easier for Dak Prescott. Sam Darnold, still a young quarterback. Jerry Jeudy goes out there, runs these brilliant routes that he can do, gets separations for Sam Darnold to throw to. I think it's a really, really good pick here for the Jets at pick number 11.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because I do think Sam Darnold's one of them. He's a weapon, but as you say, it also buys him time. Because what do? Do you go double coverage on Jerry Jeudy, and that just frees up the rest of the field? So I agree with that. I agree with that pick.
Yeah.
Perfect pick, really. Because again, he's one of them. He's arguably one of the best players on the board at that point. Maybe the best.
I think with any wide receiver in this draft, the top three really are CeeDee Lamb, Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy. You can go any of those three, and you're going to get a really good player. But I think Jerry Jeudy is just the best fit here for New York.
I've seen a lot of hype around Hamler. I know Chris Sims likes Hamler.
I think KJ Hamler's probably a day 2 pick, second round pick, but he's another player that could slide into the first round just based on the amount of needs teams have at wide receiver.
T. Higgins, AJ Terrell.
AJ Terrell's a corner.
Not AJ Terrell. Oh, screw you, man. AJ Terrell's a corner.
Denzel Mims. But we're going to get to those players later on in this mock draft. Pick 12, Oakland Raiders. They're also taking a wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb. I've got them taking wide receiver from Oklahoma. I really like CeeDee Lamb. I think he can be a number 1 in the NFL, and that's what the Raiders need. They need a number 1 wide receiver. They've got Tyrell Williams, but this guy 6'2", he can run really fast, and he turns into a running back when he gets the ball. He can make it after the catch, and very good wide receiver for the Raiders. It's a need as well.
Right. I'm torn on this one. I really don't know what to go with this. Right. The reason I'm going to give this a B, which I've just dropped, is because it's nothing on CeeDee Lamb. But for me, I don't think he's going to have as big an impact as Jerry Jeudy will. That might be a knock on Derek Carr rather than, the player himself.
Right.
So I like the pick. I do like the pick. And I do think that's where the Raiders need to improve. I might have gone with Henry Ruggs.
Really?
Yeah, I think the speed of Henry Ruggs helps get it off to him quickly. Maybe even use him, even as a halfback if you wanted to be honest, just toss it to him and get a first down. I don't know. I'm just throwing the option out there, but
yeah. Well, like I just said, I mean, whatever wide receiver you're picking out of those three, I think you're going to get a very good wide receiver.
Yeah.
I had CeeDee Lamb going as the first wide receiver in the last draft for the Cardinals because I didn't like his fit with the Raiders before, and I like Jerry Jeudy's more fit with the Raiders than CeeDee Lamb. But I think the CeeDee Lamb, I think he can become a very, very good player. I personally think he's the best receiver in the draft. I do, but I don't think they're the first taken. That's the thing. I think NFL teams' perspectives are much different to ours. But yeah, the Raiders they need a wide receiver. They just desperately need a wide receiver. Next pick anyway, 13, San Francisco 49ers after they traded it with the Colts.
Of course.
They are taking Henry Ruggs, wide receiver, Alabama. And, again, they lost Emmanuel Sanders in the offseason. Do they really have that number one guy? They've got Deebo Samuel, a nice player. Kendrick Bourne's a nice player. But Henry Ruggs at this pick 13 is a very, very good pick for them.
Great replacement for Emmanuel Sanders, who, he's gone now. So I think Henry Ruggs is the ideal replacement, and his speed is off the charts. I'm a big fan of him.
He can play outside, he can play inside, and that speed it's going to help any offense. Him and Deebo Samuel with the speed they have, that's going to be a nice combo in there for the 49ers. Next pick is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just acquired Tom Brady in free agency. So the best pick for them is to protect Tom Brady.
That's what I'm going to say. I agree.
And they're picking Jedrick Wills, offensive tackle from Alabama.
He's not the best offensive lineman, but because I'm going to give it an A because he fits the need of Tampa Bay. I mean, they don't need pass rushers. They've got Pierre-Paul, Shaq Barrett. They don't need that, really. Wide receivers, they don't need it. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. Quarterback, they don't need it. Tom Brady now. So the only place they needed was to protect him because he doesn't really like getting sacked. And who would want to at 40-odd years old? Yeah. So I think Tampa are a team to watch, Hey.
Well, when you've got Tom Brady, you've always got a chance to win. And I like the fit here. The right tackle, DeMar Dotson, I think he's going anywhere. I think he's 33 years old. So they need that younger replacement. And Jedrick Wills, again, getting Jedrick Wills at pick 14, I think it's really, really good value. And like I said, it's position of need. It's a no-brainer, really, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Pick 15, Denver Broncos. Now, this is a team that needs a wide receiver. And I could see them trading down, possibly. But obviously, like I've said, no trades in this mock draft. So I've got them taking their best player left on the board. And I think Javon Kinlaw, defensive tackle of South Carolina, I think that's a steal at pick 15. I really is. Because this guy's upside is brilliant. And this team, they lost Eric Wolf in free agency. They need to get younger on that defensive line. That Shelby Harris signed a one-year deal, but will he be there for the long term? I don't know. Putting this guy in the middle of your defensive line, solidifying it, he's going to be there for many years. And like I said, I think he's actually got better upside than Derek Brown. But I think Derek Brown's a better player right now. But Javon Kinlaw, I think that's a steal in my opinion.
I think Denver needs to plug a few gaps this year, personally. But I think it's a solid enough pick for where he is in the draft. Like, he's still on the board at this point. So, as you say, you've got to take the best player available. I think the best wide receivers have gone. I think they still could get a very good one in the second round. So, I agree with your pick. Ideally, if one of them three that we've mentioned is still on the board at this point, they take that, in my opinion, to partner up with Cortland Sutton, because that is a wide receiver 1 and 2 that could be unmatched in the league. So, I admire the pick. But, as I say, in alternative circumstances, if the three you've just mentioned, I think they were picked in a row.
They were, 3 in a row.
Yeah, if one of them is available here, that's who they pick. But if Javon Kinlaw's there, then you might as well take him. Yeah,
Henry Ruggs was a player who was being mocked to them a lot. But with the 49ers getting that pick from the Colts, I just can't see him getting past pick 13 because I think the Jets, Raiders, and 49ers all need a wide receiver. And those 3 wide receivers, the top 3, they could go in any order, really. And I don't think Denver gets one of them.
The 49ers don't need, for example, a defensive lineman at all.
Not really a need, is it?
No, they don't need to improve on defense at all, really. So
do with the corner maybe, but apart from that, it's solid. Number 1 ranked defense last year for a reason.
Well, to be fair, they could pick a corner. I mean, as previously mentioned, not wide receiver AJ Terrell is available, as we said, with corners. The moment it hits Jeff Okudah down, there's a little bit of a drop off, but I'm just looking here at some that could possibly go. CJ Henderson, maybe, to the 49ers.
Well, in fact, the next pick, the Atlanta Falcons, are picking CJ Henderson, cornerback from Florida.
Well, there you go.
In my opinion, he's the second best cornerback in this draft. Very, very He's a big corner, very athletic corner. Didn't have as many interceptions in 2019 than he did in 2018, but I think he's a very, very good man-to-man corner. Bit of a tackling issue, but I think he can be definitely a number one corner in the future. They need corners. They lost Desmond Trufant, Kendall Sheffield, and another young corner whose name escapes my mind. But they need corners, and he's the second best corner in this draft.
Yeah, I agree. And as I say, I think personally could be taken by the 49ers, but
I agree with you. He's another player whose stock is rising day by day, and there's rumors in the top 12. The teams might trade up to get him. But if the Falcons are going to pick 16, falling right into the lap, that's an awesome pick.
You might as well take him.
Yeah, you might as well. Pick 17, next up, Dallas Cowboys. Now, these guys need a cornerback, but we also need other players like safeties, a defensive lineman after we lost Robert Quinn. I've got them taking the best player available, K'Lavon Chaisson, defensive end from LSU. And I think when you look at this guy, he's got such a high motor. Opposite of DeMarcus Lawrence, I think he would be a really, really, really good pick.
See, I'll be honest. When you was talking, I thought you was going with Xavier McKinney or Grant Delpit. Is where I thought you was taking me there when you was talking about the safety position. But you're going to go with, did you say defensive end?
K'Lavon Chaisson, yeah. We lost Robert Quinn in the offseason at 11.5 sacks. Very, very hard to replace. Now, we did sign a player this morning called Aldon Smith, who formerly of the Raiders and the 49ers. Now, Aldon Smith, if any people that don't know, he hasn't played for 4 years. Now, the reason is because off-season issues for him have been terrible. But in the first 2 seasons of his career, he got 33.5 sacks, which is the most for any player in NFL history. In 4 seasons, he got 42 sacks. And he reunites with his old defensive line coach, Jim Tomsula, who's now our defensive line coach. So people could say, well, why do you need another defensive lineman? Can you really trust that guy? I know he's been rehabbing, but can you really trust him? I don't know about that. I can trust K'Lavon Chaisson, though, to be a very good defensive end. And like I said, I think him opposite DeMarcus Lawrence, I think it's a really good pick.
B. Because I've looked at some of, like, for example, defensive ends. Do you think he's better than Gross Matos?
Yeah. K'Lavon Chaisson, I think Chase Young's the best defensive end in the draft by far. He's the best player in the draft. Then it's Chaisson. After that, I think it's pretty big. I think it's a pretty big drop off. I liked AJ Epinesa a few months ago, but he didn't have a very good combine, and he's not very athletic. He's just not. And athleticism, if you can get a player with good athleticism to play, you've got a hell of a player. If a player's got athleticism, he's useful. And he's kind of more of an outside blitzing linebacker is Chaisson. But like I said, he's more of that defensive end-like player. Gets a lot of tackles, a lot of sacks. And like I said, if CJ Henderson's off the board, I think this is the pick. If CJ Henderson's on the board with Chaisson, I think they pick CJ Henderson instead.
I'd like you to pick a safety. I really would. I'd like Xavier McKinney. Maybe that's because I've got a soft spot for him because of Madden.
I would like the Xavier McKinney pick, but we've seen in the past, the Cowboys, they just don't value the safety position. And I would really like Grant Delpit or Xavier McKinney at pick 17, but the Cowboys just don't value safety for some reason. I don't know why it is, but they never seem to pick a safety high, so I just can't see it happening, although it would be a very nice pick.
Yeah, well, he's a good player. Is he the best player on the board? Not in my personal opinion. As I said, I already know where I'd like you to go, but I can't put bias, so I give you a B.
Yeah. Pick 18. Miami Dolphins are back on the clock. I've got them taking Josh Jones, offensive tackle from Houston. Probably the 5th best offensive tackle in this draft. Another player I think is not getting enough recognition. I think he's a very good offensive tackle. And the Dolphins, they need offensive tackle. They need to protect their new quarterback, Tua.
I was about to say, do you think they just need to protect Tua at all costs?
Straight away. Because they signed Eric Flowers, but it's Eric Flowers, you know what I mean? See? Interesting.
I just don't think it's enough protection, to be honest. I don't think I know because it's hard at pick 18. Obviously, they need to get what they get. But they want to take Tua at that first slot, so all the good offensive or the great offensive linemen have already gone. So they're kind of left with what they get. Still a good player, but I just don't think it's enough protection.
I mean, I think he's the next best available offensive lineman. If the Dolphins didn't pick him here and they tried to pick 26, I don't think he'd be on the board. I think another
Yeah, that's probably fair.
So I think they've just got to take him. Now, pick 19, Oakland Raiders. This was a tough one because they need corners, but they also need a safety. I've got them taking Xavier McKinney, Alabama. Very versatile player. Can play corner and safety. Probably the best safety in this draft. I've seen him falling in the draft a bit just because teams don't need safeties. But the Raiders here, they get that Swiss Army knife in the back end of their defense. Like I said, best safety in the draft. Alabama, he's going to be a solid player in the NFL.
I can't believe he's dropped this far.
Really?
But as you say, not everyone needs a safety. So
it's not a very high position in safety, really.
No, but I admit he's the best one in the draft, and I think they'll be very happy to get him at middle of the first round.
Yeah, and like I said, coming from Alabama, we know he's going to be a good player. He's probably not going to be a bust. Will he be amazing? That's yet to be seen, but he will definitely be. We know he's going to be a very good, solid player in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Now, next pick, Jacksonville Jaguars, pick 20. I've got them taking Jeff Gladney, cornerback, TCU. Another riser in the draft, really. Very, very corner. He only had one interception, but he had 14 passes defended. I think he fits the scheme really well. And with C.J. Henderson off the board, they need cornerbacks. And I think it's between him and the next corner that will be in this mock draft, who's the third best corner in the draft. It's between Gladney and Christian Fulton to be the third best corner in the draft.
Yeah, I'm looking at corners in the draft. Gladney has risen stock-wise, but I think there might be 2 or 3 better than him.
Really?
I agree with.
I think he's the third best.
I think
third or fourth best. It's him or Fulton, really.
I'd probably have him. Maybe I'm undermining him, but I say 5th or 6th. I think Terrell and Diggs are better than him personally.
I don't think Terrell's better than him. I don't think Diggs. I think Terrell and Diggs are second round picks. I think you can get both of those in the second round.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, you probably could, but I think. Yeah, I'm trying to think in terms of is he. This is all my opinion and your opinion. You rate players, I rate different players. But yeah, it's a position they need to fill.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So,
they need a corner.
I've got to admit, I don't know about you. I think the Jags next year, they're rebuilding. I think next year they're not going to be much better.
Overall pick next year.
Yeah,
they could be in contention to get Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, because I personally think there's not enough talent on that team, and I don't think Gladney's going to change that. But there's so many positions they need. It's hard to choose. So I'm going to have to give a C.
If they get Gladney and Derek Brown, they're 2 future stars that are going to be very good for their defense, and it's going to help them build.
Yeah.
Pick number 31, Philadelphia Eagles. I've got them taking wide receiver Justin Jefferson from LSU. This team, they need wide receivers.
Indeed.
Need wide receivers desperately. If they don't get one of those top 3, I think he's the next one off the board. Just because of his production was unbelievable at LSU with Joe Burrow.
Eagles. But they still made it to the off season, so it's still a successful campaign for them. But I think a weapon for Carson Wentz is very helpful, and I think Justin Jefferson is very good. Pick that he's being chosen at here late. Well, not late first round. There's still a few 10 picks or so, but solid pick, and probably in terms of wide receivers, I think he was the best one left.
Yeah, either him or the next player I'm going to mention, who's going up later in this mock draft, a wide receiver from Baylor. But the next pick, 22, your Minnesota Vikings are now on the clock. I've got them taking Christian Fulton, cornerback LSU.
I'm glad I rated him as the third highest corner.
Like I said, I think it's Gladney or him to be the third highest corner in this draft.
Maybe because it's biased, but we need corners because we lost our 2 starting corners. Mike Hughes has played 5 snaps in his life, and he's now our number 1 corner, which is a difficult place to be in.
Massive hole for you. All the corner Vikings.
we promote Mike Hughes to maybe cornerback 1, which is, again, not the greatest situation to be
I
in.
think Fulton could be cornerback number 1. Mike Hughes could be cornerback number 2. I think Fulton coming from a big school, he's shown he doesn't get thrown to a lot just because his man coverage is so good. And like I said, pick 22 would be a nice pick for you because you need cornerbacks.
Yeah, I like that pick.
Yeah, and like I said, it's Okuda's number 1, Henderson number 2, and then I think, in my opinion, it's Gladney or Fulton. Whichever way you get, you're gonna get a good corner out of those two, whichever one it is.
I prefer Fulton, so I'm glad you gave us Fulton instead.
Yeah, and I think the NFL just seems to be a bit lower on Fulton, which really surprised me because I like him as a player. I really like. Yeah. Fulton's a very good corner, but the NFL just does seem to be. Well, NFL team just does seem to be high on him. Pick 23. This one's a very interesting pick. Now, in reality, I don't think the Patriots are going to have the balls to pick him because they like Stidham. But do they like Stidham, or do they like a quarterback that could be on the board when they pick
Jordan
Love? Their new starting quarterback from Utah State, and I think going to Bill Belichick, because I think anywhere else it could be a boom or bust prospect. Going to Bill Belichick with that system, I think he's going to get the best out of him, and he's still very young, and they need a QB. D. Wow. Why is it a D, Kieran?
Why is it a D? I just don't think it's going to happen. And that is literally the sole reason it's a D.
What do you think in terms of a fit, though? Because I don't think it's going to happen either. I do not think the Patriots are going to pick him just because I don't think...
they like Stidham. I think they like Stidham, and I think they might roll with him. I think they... Something is telling me they pick up either Cam Newton or Jameis to move into the season. And then groom Stidham for 1 or 2 more years, and then that's where, maybe we have Brady 2.0. They're asking for a lot. I don't know where I see Jordan Love going, to be honest.
Well, that's the thing. It's like after the Chargers pick at 6, there's nowhere else that needs a QB. And maybe a team, like I said, obviously no trade, but maybe a team does trade up and snatch him. The Colts could jump up and snatch him. But yeah, I've got him here just because I don't think he'll get out the first round.
Maybe the 49ers. Maybe the 49ers trade away their late pick. Someone trades up who needs a quarterback and takes Jordan Love at 31. Maybe.
But yeah, I think the Patriots, they'd like Stidham. I don't think it will happen.
Yeah.
But thinking potential fit, just looking at the board, it just makes too much sense to me.
That's why it's a D. But again, the Patriots, for me, they need a lot of improvement.
They do. They need wide receivers.
I think personally, they've only got worse.
Oh, they've got majorly worse. They've lost loads of players.
They've lost Cal Van Noy as well.
They don't pay players. They don't pay big to players. They draft players, groom them themselves, let them walk and get compensatory picks. That's how the Patriots do it. And they keep those core players for a long time, like Tom Brady's, and they signed Stephon Gilmore to a new contract. But yeah, they lost Cal Van Noy. They lost Jimmy Collins. They lost Deron Harmon. They lost a lot of players, really.
They'll view it as they have more needs than quarterback.
Yeah, it's a good point. And like we said, they do like Stidham, but it just made so much sense for me at pick 23.
Fair enough.
Pick 24, New Orleans Saints, Patrick Queen, linebacker, LSU. When you look at this team, there's not a lot of weaknesses, but they've got Demario Davis at linebacker and no one else really. I think Queen, hometown kid, he can play any of the linebacker positions. I think he's very versatile. And
he's a good inside linebacker.
You what?
I like him at inside linebacker, personally.
Yeah. Put him at inside linebacker, but Demario Davis is more of your right outside Sam linebacker. I think that'd be a nice combination for the Saints.
And to be fair, I agree with you, how this team has not made a Super Bowl in the last 3 years, they've been ready. Like they should be the NFC's representatives, but this never happened.
Never. I mean, they got hit by the Minneapolis Miracle. They should have made it to the Super Bowl 1 year. That was against the Rams. That missed call was just a blatant missed call. They got robbed.
I was about to say, you have the Miracle. The year after that, you had the missed call. The year after that, they got done over by us again.
Which you shouldn't have really, because I don't know how they lost that game. I'm not going to lie. But Daniil Hunter got a big strip sack, and that just changed the game.
I mean, to be fair, if Dalvin didn't have his knee down, thank the Lord for that knee.
Dear.
Anyway.
Pick 25 is your Vikings again. They're picking next. And go on, I'll let you try and guess this pick.
I personally think we need offensive tackles.
I agree. But I think
we look at who's gone. Mekhi Becton's gone. Austin Jackson is still on the board.
I think you can get him on day 2. I think you can get him as a second-round pick.
So where are you improving then? I don't know whether you're maybe going with a wide receiver, possibly, but I think offensive tackle. You've got rid of Tristan Wirfs, Andrew Thomas gone, Mekhi Becton. Have you got rid of Jedrick Wills?
Jedrick Wills has gone to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Josh Jones has gone to the Dolphins.
Maybe. Maybe we go with. I'm trying to think. Maybe we go wide receiver.
I've got you taking. Go on, I'll put you out of your misery. I've got Denzel Mims, wide receiver from Baylor. In my opinion, this guy is a very, very good wide receiver. 6'3". He can run. He can run routes. He can run very, very fast. And you need wide receivers next to Adam Thielen, who's getting old, by the way. Adam Thielen's 31.
He is.
Oh, no, sorry. Is he 30? No, I think he's about 30 years old. Yeah.
He's 30.
Yeah, I think he's about 30 years old. This guy's a very young, dynamic receiver, and I don't think he'd make it into the second round. And after that, I think your options are slim. You might like T. Higgins, but I think runner for the catch. This guy is so athletic. Pick 25. I think maybe the Eagles might even consider Denzel Mims, but I think if you got Denzel Mims at pick 25, I think that's a nice pick.
You're high on Denzel Mims. I like T. Higgins. I also like LaVisca, but there's too much question marks over his fitness and health.
That's the reason. I think KJ
Hamler. I like KJ Hamler, but I'm not sure if he makes it. I don't think maybe he's not a first rounder. But I personally would have gone with what I believe is a more crucial position this year, which is offensive lineman. But if you think we can get him in the second round, I'll trust in you.
I think there's Austin Jackson is a good offensive tackle. Ezra Cleveland from Boise State's another good offensive tackle. But I think picking one of those two at pick 25 is probably a reach, in my opinion. You can get them both in the second round. Denzel Mims, you can't get in the second round. I've just gone best. They're both a need, and I think the quality of wide receiver, as the board fell, Denzel Mims is definitely a better player overall than the offensive tackles that were available. In the second round pick, there's no reason why you can't go get another good offensive tackle. Pick 26, Miami Dolphins. Got them taking DeAndre Swift, running back, Georgia. They picked up Jordan Howard in free agency for a 2-year deal, but I don't think he's that long-term option. I think Swift is the best running back in the draft. A nice 1-2 punch team, him and Jordan Howard. And I think another player could be picked in the first round by the later teams here.
Do you know what? You know he's not my favourite running back. You know my favourite running back. But
who's running back again?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I love Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But I'm torn between a B and a C. I'll tell you now, I'm torn between B and C.
Could put it as a B minus B plus.
But he is the best running back in the draft.
He is, and they need that future option next to Tua.
Yeah, do you know what? I'll give him a B. Because when they don't want Tua throwing the ball and they don't want him getting hit, if you can just toss it off to DeAndre Swift, then yeah, I think he's the best running back available. He's not my favourite running back. I actually quite like J.K. Dobbins as well. Cam Akers, quite good, but I think he is better than them. He's no Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but
I think he's more dynamic than Clyde Edwards-Helaire is.
Yeah,
I think he fits well with Howard because Howard's more of a power back, whereas DeAndre Swift's more of he's also a power back, but he's also very, very quick and agile, good elusiveness. I think a nice 1-2 punch between those two alternating carries with Tua at quarterback and Josh Jones protecting him. I think that'd be a nice first round for the Dolphins.
I like it a lot. He is the best running back in the draft.
Pick 27, Seattle Seahawks. I think this one is a bit obvious, really. Yetur Gross-Matos, defensive end, Penn State. Another team that they lost Quentin Jefferson, and they just need younger pass rushers. Obviously, Javon Clowney is still a free agent. They haven't re-signed him yet. I think he's behind. He's behind Kieran Chase definitely. I think he's probably the third best defensive end in this draft.
I think the Seahawks don't need to improve in many places because they are a good team. They're just always injured. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But in terms of who's available at this point, it's a toss-up for me between him and AJ Epinesa, who gets picked. Either. I think, to be honest, for me, I know you're very high on Chason, but I think Epinesa, Chason, and Gross Matos are very I think interchangeable players.
Really?
In terms of edge rushers. I know you're very high on Chason, but for me,
yeah, I do like Chason.
Them three are interchangeable behind Chase Young. So to get him at this late, and there's not much that the Seahawks really. They have a good team already. It's a good ad. I like the addition.
Well, I had them taking Epinesa in that last mock draft, but I think Gross Matos is more athletic than AJ Epinesa. You can do more with him, I think. And the Seahawks like to move their defensive linemen across the line, sometimes rushing the pass, sometimes dropping in coverage, sometimes going in defensive tackle and stopping the run. I think this guy's a very versatile defensive end. He's a big, strong guy.
I like it.
Pick 27, he's the best player they could have got. Pick 28, Baltimore Ravens, another team with, there's not a lot of weaknesses on this team. Kenneth Murray, linebacker, Oklahoma. That's what I've got him taking. And I think that tackling machine at linebacker is the one player they just don't have. Because they've got good linebackers that can blitz. They don't have that one guy that can run around the field and make 10 tackles a game. Kenneth Murray is the perfect fit. At Oklahoma, he made over 100 total tackles. Pick 28. I think, it might go before Patrick Queen. But if the Ravens go him at 28, I think that's a very good pick.
Yeah, I'd put a B because I personally think he will go before Patrick Queen.
Exactly, that's why I think the pick at 28 for the Ravens would be such a steal.
To be fair though, I think at this point there's so many good players still left.
Yeah,
which is insane. But yeah,
it is a very strong draft. Now, pick 29, Tennessee Titans, Zach Bourne, linebacker / edge from Wisconsin. I think he fits their scheme so well. They like to run the 3-4, where they have like a big nose tackle and two strong defensive ends. Then they have the two linebackers that kind of like blitz on the outside. They've already got Harold Landry. I think Zach Bourne could be the one opposite Harold Landry. 13.5 sacks for Wisconsin. I think this is an awesome pick for the Titans at pick 29. Just making the defense even better.
I mean, I feel boring because every single pick's been a B, but yeah, good pick. It's a solid enough pick. It's the Titans are a good team. I rated the Titans highly going into last mid-season to off-season, to post-season, should I say. Yeah, I rated them very highly, and I think offensively they've got what they need. I do think in the first round they need to focus on the defensive side of the ball because, I mean, we can't get past the fact that they did blow a lead in Kansas. So maybe defensively they just need to bolster a little bit more.
Blew a lead in Kansas, but if you blow a lead against Patrick Mahomes, you can't.
It doesn't really matter. True, you can let it
go. Let's be honest, they overachieved getting to the AFC Championship game.
Wrong. I predicted.
No, you didn't predict they'd get to the AFC Championship game.
No, I didn't. You're right. I predicted that they'd beat the Patriots.
You did predict they'd beat the Patriots. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but then I thought they'd get ran over by Ravens, and turns out Derrick Henry just ran over everyone.
Run over the Ravens.
Yeah.
Pick 30. Green Bay Packers. Now this one is a wide receiver.
Good.
I couldn't choose between Laviska Shenault or Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor, I think, is a very good speed wide receiver.
You don't know KJ Hamler at all?
KJ Hamler's a second-round pick.
Oh.
Second-round pick.
Really?
Yeah, he is a second-round pick, KJ Hamler. I like KJ Hamler as a wide receiver. He's from Penn State, and KJ Hamler. That's the one I'm thinking of.
I will just quickly check for you. KJ Hamler.
Penn State.
Yeah, you're right. Penn State.
Yeah. So coming from a big college, but I think he could be picked up early second round. But he's a second rounder, I think. I don't think he's better than Shenault or Reagor. I've got them taking. Oh, this was a tough one. This Laviska Shenault. I know he's got his injury issues, but if the medical issues check out, they've got a very good wide receiver here. Yeah,
but there's too many risks involved. Hence why I'd take KJ Hamler at this position if I was Green Bay. This is the position we do need, though. I agree with that. I agree with the choices. Sadly for them, they had too good of a season last season to be rewarded with
A good wide receiver.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they could trade down and pick up extra picks because I think they could get KJ. I think they could genuinely get KJ Hamler later in the draft. So maybe if they trade back, then get KJ Hamler with the pick they trade back with, they've got more picks in the second round. Then that could be an option for them if they think LaVisca or Jalen Reagor is a reach. Pick 31. The 49ers, in my opinion, getting the steal of the draft here. Grant Delpit, safety LSU.
Yeah, I agree.
Still
on the board.
Again, it's just you get the 49ers, another team with barely any weaknesses, but this guy's so versatile. He's more of a box safety. Well, no, he's not more of a box safety. More of a he's a safety that they like dropping coverage. They've got Jimmy Ward, they've got Jasky Tart, but those two, they'll re-sign Jimmy Ward, but I think they need that next level play. I think the potential of Grant Delpit's really, really high. And just another player on that defense to make plays. But again, they could trade it. They could trade it away. But if Grant Delpit's there, it might be too much to pass up on.
If you get Grant Delpit at safety, you've got Richard Sherman at corner, you've got pass rushers coming out your ears, and you've got 2 first-round picks. Is there a team in a better position than the 49ers? I think if they get Grant Delpit, that's the best defense in football. And it already is the best defense in football, but that makes it even better.
The 49ers, the Bills, I like their defense a lot. They don't obviously have a first-round pick because they've got Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is a first-round pick, which is, in my opinion, an A. If you were going to grade their draft pick of Stephon Diggs, it would be an A.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Which is just crazy. I didn't even realise.
If I was going to give that trade, I'd give the trade an A.
Yeah. Last pick of the first round, the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, they need corners, but the top-tier corners, in my opinion, have all gone off the board. There's only second-round talents left on the board. They reach. They get Trevon Diggs. What do you think of that pick?
I like him because I'm a big fan of Trevon Diggs.
Big corner.
Big corner.
He is a big man.
I'm gonna sit on the fence and give it a B because, to be fair with the Chiefs, as we've already said, they don't need much improvement. Really, I mean, they won the Super Bowl. Maybe it was a one-man team, but no. One-man teams don't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I've gone with cornerback just because they lost Kendall Fuller. It's their only visible, it's the only weakness I can see on their team. So why not just pick? Why not pick 32? You're looking at most of the first round talents have gone off the board in this draft. However, still a lot of first round talents on that board. But the cornerback position there's been a lot of corners taken in this first round, and I think the next best available was probably Trevon Diggs.
I agree. I think he is.
Another trade down candidate, in my opinion, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Do you think?
Yeah, just because I think they could get pick up a few more picks, and just kind of like pick some because like I said, there's a lot of first round talents falling into the second round. They get more picks, they can just reinforce that roster even more and get their depth will be unbelievable then. As Super Bowl champions. But yeah, if they do pick in the first round, like I've got every team picking in the first round this draft, there's obviously no trades. Trevon Diggs will be a nice pick for them.
Yeah, as you say, bordering on a second round talent, but when you pick 32, you're the first pick before the second round, anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
What can you expect?
The Bengals are back on the clock then, which is crazy because they could end up with a first round player.
Pretty much. And they've already got Joe Burrow, so they don't need,
Yeah, definitely.
I'm very excited though, as the draft is only 3 weeks away. I mean, we're going to have to fill the next 2 weeks with something.
I mean, maybe you could make a mock draft if you want.
I mean, there wouldn't be many changes because I've not been watching it long enough, really. That's pretty much the long and short of it. But I could try.
We'll think of something.
We'll see.
But we'll see. I just can't wait for the draft. And if we did a live stream, I think that'd be very good reaction to the picks live.
I think that's what we're going to do. I think we'll get the old Sky on the screen behind me, but we'll try not to get copyrighted. So I'll kind of move it away, and we'll have stream up, and we'll go live, and hopefully we can get each other through this because it's going to be a long night.
It is a long night. Well, if we do the first, we could do the first round, which lasts till about 4 a.m. And then the second and third round as well, which I like watching the second and third round because I think teams pick up a lot of steals. There's just a lot of picks happening because it's 2 rounds.
We're planning to go the whole 9 yards, pal. We may even be going for pick round 4, 5.
You might have been watching 253rd overall pick, Mr. Irrelevant. That's what they call it.
Hey, I think you'll find Mr. Adam Thielen went undrafted. So
half of the league's undrafted as well. That's a fact for you.
Exactly. Stephon Diggs was he a 4th round pick?
5th round pick, Stephon Diggs.
5th round pick. There you go.
Prescott 4th round pick.
Exactly. So Mr. Irrelevant.
4th round pick, Kirk Cousins.
Mr. Irrelevant might become Mr. Showtime, and we'll be doing all that. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. I don't want to say we've been. To be fair, we started this podcast a week before the season finished. We've been in a tough spot for content for a good.
The coronavirus made it even harder.
Yeah, exactly. Because we can't even do we used to do fantasy stuff and ranking all the quarterbacks. We can't do that because we can't get the pictures up anymore.
Studios unavailable.
Production been stripped down. I've had to resort to putting looks like highlights on the screen behind me just to give a bit of a pizzazz to the show.
Instead of your window back there.
I'm
wall behind me.
Just you look like you're in jail. It's. I've had to wear my Vikings just to give me a bit of NFL feel before the draft,
Something, bit of something.
A bit of something. But thank you very much. If you've joined us today for the Mock Draft 2.0, it's a bit different. Is this the first NFL corner via StreamYard?
No, it's second. We did the couple of weeks ago. We did the free agency reactions, didn't we?
But I had my studio then. We were in the studio.
You were in the studio, exactly.
But we've been trying our best. It's a weird time. Everyone, stay healthy, stay away from people as much. I know it's difficult now, but we'll get through it. And we'll be able to be, hopefully, if everything goes well and everyone listens to the rules, we'll be celebrating the start of the NFL season on time with fans, with players, and we can kick off the 2020 season.
2020 season, indeed. And hopefully we get football back soon as well and some other sports. But yeah, there's not around going at the moment. So stick to watching the Sports Corner channel because we do have a lot of content.
God bless Josh for getting the career mode, because I tell you what, at least that's something you can stick with throughout the whole. We've got the Wrestling Corner on a Tuesday, which will be flooded with WrestleMania this week. We may be doing live reactions. I think I might jump on with Rowan, possibly to get live reactions to it. It's going to be a lot of late nights for me coming up. I'm realising being a fan of American sports is bad. So we'll have that. And then on Wednesday, it's the rest of the world and EFL team of the season. Thursday, it's Mike Beals next week.
It's just something to talk about anyway.
We'll try to think of something.
We might just do an hour show if Jameis gets signed, dedicating how Jameis is going to be a great fit for this new team. How we can now see how he's got 2 shoulders, how he's going to win the Super Bowl.
That's it, right? So next week, I'll put it into the schedule. Next week is a Jameis tribute episode. That sounds like a good idea. And now I've created the thumbnail because we're all on a budget. Jameis tribute episode next week. There you go. Brilliant stuff. We can go in depth on all of his 30 interceptions, and we can say why he threw it there, and we'll try and defend him as much as we can. But anyway, we've waffled for long enough at the end of this stream now. We've
Let's do a quick recap of all the picks. Who got picked and whatnot.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Obviously, pick number 1, the Bengals get their new quarterback in Joe Burrow. Pick number 2, Washington Redskins select Chase Young, the best player in this draft, defensive end from Ohio State. The Lions make a shock move, but they get a very good player, Isaiah Simmons, linebacker from Clemson. The New York Giants select big offensive tackle, Mekhi Becton from Louisville, solidifying that offensive line. Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback from Alabama, a much predicted pick. Pick 6, the Chargers got Justin Herbert, quarterback from Oregon. Again, another player who's been mocked there quite a lot. Could be an overdraft, but I think they do need a quarterback. Pick 7, Jeff Okudah, brilliant pick, cornerback from Ohio State. Pick 8, Arizona Cardinals select Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle from where's he from? Where's Tristan Wirfs from again? Iowa, that's it. Just forgot there. Jaguars get defensive tackle Derek Brown from Auburn. They need defensive lineman, that solidifies their D line. Cleveland Browns select not Jedrick Wills, Andrew Thomas, left tackle from Alabama.
Oh,
Almost I'm picking someone else there. New York Jets, Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver from Alabama. Raiders wide receiver, C.D. Lamb from Oklahoma. So 2 wide receivers taken back to back. Actually, 3 wide receivers taken back to back.
Yep.
Henry Ruggs, 49ers from Alabama. Buccaneers, they select Jedrick Wills, not Andrew Thomas.
no.
From Georgia. Broncos, Javon Kinlaw, defensive tackle from South Carolina. Atlanta Falcons, C.J. Henderson, their new starting cornerback from Florida. Dallas Cowboys, Caleb Chasson, probably their new starting right end from LSU, opposite DeMarcus Lawrence. Offensive lineman, the next pick to the Miami Dolphins, Josh Jones from Houston. Pick 19, Xavier McKinney, safety to the Oakland Raiders from Alabama. Jacksonville Jaguars with the 20th pick select Jeff Gladney, cornerback for TCU. 21st overall pick, Philadelphia Eagles select Justin Jefferson, wide receiver LSU. Pick 22, Minnesota Vikings select Christian Fulton, cornerback LSU. New England Patriots, Jordan Love, quarterback Utah State. Probably what happened, but they need a QB. No. Why not?
The only deal of the draft that.
Well, at least I passed everything else. Pick 24, New Orleans Saints, Patrick Queen, linebacker from LSU. Minnesota Vikings at pick 25, pick Denzel Mims, wide receiver from Baylor. Pick 26, Miami Dolphins select the first running back of the draft, DeAndre Swift from Georgia. Seattle Seahawks, pick 27, Yetur Gross-Matos, defensive end from Penn State. Pick 28, the Ravens, a team with not many weaknesses, but they pick up Kenneth Murray, linebacker from Oklahoma. Pick 29, Tennessee Titans, pick Zach Bourne, defensive end from Wisconsin. Green Bay Packers select wide receiver Laviska Shenault from Colorado, I think he's from Laviska Shenault. Is it that? Bit of an iffy pick with his injury issues, but if he is healthy, a very good player.
If he's fit, then he's a first rounder.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I had him going there. I just presumed he might be healthy. His hamstring might be fit, and he goes to the Packers. Pick 31, 49ers probably get the steal of the draft. Grant Delpit, safety from LSU. If he's there, a team might pick him. There's no reason why a team can't pick him before him. And the last pick of the first round is big man, cornerback from Alabama, Trevon Diggs.
Trevon Diggs. I mean, considering we'd already picked up... I'm sorry, by the way, you can hear my bloody flip-flop grinding off the bloody bottom of my chair. My apologies. But no, I think with Trevon going at 32, I would love us to get Trevon. But as you said, to be fair, aside from my love of Diggs in general, he may be a second-round talent. But
maybe. Yeah. I mean, look, if you want to trade up and get Josh Jones as your offensive tackle, and then you can get Trevon Diggs in the first round, and then get your wide receiver in the second round. Go get yourself. If you end up with Josh Jones, offensive tackle, Trevon Diggs as your first round cornerback, and then you go get yourself KJ Hamler in the second round. That'd be an awesome draft.
You don't have him picking. You don't have KJ Hamler going in the first, so we might as well pick him up.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's it. And
that was it. It was fun.
And you said it wasn't going to be a long video. Hour 12 minutes, another longish video, like I said.
Tell you what, you got to squeaky bum time over here. We're on 13% on the iPad here. We are struggling.
Right then, so I explained it there. Thanks for joining. Join next week if we have something, probably the James Winston tribute. And we'll see you later.
Goodbye.